Yes, it's time to talk about this week's Boku no Hero Academia.
You know, I'm a merciful God, and due to the claims of our comments, I shall grant you the other 50% of your points from last episode. Here is a second splinter.
Yay!
You now have your full 2 splinters of points.
Yay, 2 splinters!
Just stab through your hand.
Ah!
I got one in one hand, I threw the other one, it's in your second hand.
Ah!
I figured I may as well make it symmetrical.
But don't you know, now I can use these splinters of points as weapons!
My stand. I forget what I named it last week. It will stop you. As I sit upon my throne of points. Don't even have to get them off. Got my legs crossed like Dio. Just bored look on my face.
This summer, when we take a break from Brandon's Discuss Anime, you really need to design Dragon Force.
Again, I got it part way there. I just want to make it look better.
Okay. So, this was really interesting.
You also don't get points for this one.
I was guessing that it would be, tied at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No points for you. This time it's legitimate.
I'm fine with this since it's legitimate.
So, yeah, I'm trying to think like where exactly this picked up at again. Oh, right when the brawl started. That's where it picks up.
And, of course, Minata uses his powers in such a perverted way.
Not gonna lie, I completely forgot that he can use them as trampolines himself.
Same.
But yeah, of course. Literally has to touch the boob. Can't not find an excuse.
Yes, I will also push you out of the way of the attack while groping you!
He didn't even get that. He made a fucking shield. Like, he had a shield filled with his grape, like, up with his grape stuff, and he used the excuse of, oh, it pushed me into your boob. Oh, no. Manage that thing. Which, I'll be real, as horrible as Mineta can be when it comes to, like, just trying to cop a feel, this one's kind of legitimate. Because I feel like even with him bouncing around like that, the force of twin impact would push him. Now, did he thrust his face in the way on purpose? Maybe. But I feel like this one at least is a little bit more excusable, because if you're hit with an impact in midair, it's gonna force you in the direction of the impact.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of leeway here, but, you know, he does get thrown at the enemy and turned into a freaking literal missile, I guess.
But I did find it interesting how he, like, set up all the grape trampolines for him to use to get around quicker.
Oh, yeah. I will say this. That's literally the last time I think we see him this episode, is just him bouncing around like a maniac. Like, after Pinky just tosses him.
I thought there was one reaction shot where Deku uses Black Whip again.
Maybe? I don't remember. I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah,
that could be.
I am probably dead wrong, but I thought there was a lot more reaction shots of that.
Yeah, maybe? I thought I remembered most of it just being the flashback.
Maybe I'm confusing that.
Maybe. Either way, I still say Mineta's gone at this point for the most part until the end of the fight, where Deku's the one carrying him because nobody else will touch him. Pinky doesn't want to touch him. Uraraka doesn't want to touch him. I mean, I don't blame them.
Is he perverted to every girl, or does he seem to have preference?
It seems like anyone specifically that's not flat-chested, so Jiro's out of there. he seems to enjoy those of the more voluptuous nature, which is more or less everyone in the class other than Jiro. But yeah, what do we got? We get Deku being worried about his power for a minute, and then being like, you know what? Nah, man, just keep my self-control, and we can handle this. Only to find out that, like, while he can use Black Whip right now, he can't fully use it at this point. Even at 20% of One for All, Black Whip's still too strong for him to really handle at the moment. It still gives him too much backlash in his body.
So wait, hold on. Are you saying that Black Whip gives him whiplash?
I get the pun, but I'm actually trying to ponder what is the actual definition of whiplash? Like, is that actually accurate? Hold on, I need to look this up now. Definition of whiplash. Injury caused by a severe jerk to the head, typically in a motor accident. Nope. Verb, jerk or jolt, suddenly, typically, so as also to cause injury. I don't know if this would be considered actually a whiplash.
Oh, okay.
It seems like it'd be one thing if he would use it and it would suddenly like drop him to the floor. In this case, it seems more like it's just something he can't. It seems like it's something that like causes his body to just kind of either hurt or go numb, one of the two.
Ah, okay.
Like, I don't know, maybe severe strain or something.
Okay.
Like that. Either way, the point is he cannot use it unless he's mastered One for All. Or gets damn close, one of the two, I would say.
Now, with 6 other quirks in his body yet to be released, do you think he will master One for All before the end of the series?
I have to assume that that's the case, considering the very start of this anime is the old Deku saying, like, this is how I became the greatest hero ever. Or something along those lines. So I have to assume that, yes, he masters it.
Will you say he masters it before the final arc?
I think the question becomes, does he master One for All and that's first? And he still has to train at least a little bit with the other ones to really comprehend it? Or is the implication that like some of the knowledge of the original users is also stored in One for All and thus passed down to him? Because I mean, the way he uses Black Whip when he does actually have some control over it seems to imply that he has some inherent knowledge of how to use it now after meeting with the prior user.
Okay.
Or the original owner of the quirk.
So he'll probably get all the other 6 before the final arc, and then he will probably use all of them on who the final antagonist is.
I do have to wonder what All Might's ghost is gonna say.
Hey, Deku, go beyond plus ultra!
My other biggest question is, does All Might still die? Because by the definition of the hero's journey, your master has to die. It happens in every single series like this. Luke loses Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan loses his master, Qui-Gon. Like, it happens in almost every single one of these setups. The master has to die.
And just speculating here...
I was going to say, sorry, or something just as severe, like a coma or something.
Just speculating here, the master needs to die. This is all about a younger generation moving forward. That also could mean a new generation of villains. Would you say...
Well, wouldn't that be like Shigaraki and the others?
Would you say Shigaraki, rather than All for One, will be the final antagonist?
See, this is one of the things I'm curious about. I don't know if it would be him. I don't know if it would be either one or both. Because I still got to keep wondering how All for One keeps himself alive. right? Like, does he pull something akin to like an Orochimaru, where it's like, oh, I bring in all of these lovely people to just inherit their body? So, like, does he have a quirk that allows him to pass on his soul, mind, and quirk or whatever to another body, or like swap it? In which case, can he force himself into Shigaraki's body and take over?
We'll worry about that down the line. I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
I mean, you were asking about the final arc, which I have no idea. Broad speculation.
Yeah, and I don't mean super arc, because I think technically we're in the second super arc now, and I think, like, what's currently going on is classified as the final arc, but it has, like, lots of mini sub-arcs around it.
Yeah, why don't we actually get back to this?
Yeah!
So yeah, Deku uses Black Whip, can't handle it. Still goes after Shinzo using only 8% of One for All.
And Shinzo just Spider-Man-ing his way.
Oh yeah, one-handed too. He's gotten real good at that.
And I forget, is that cloth psychically controlled, or?
No, I think it's literally like none of them have psychic abilities. At least not any of the ones using it, as far as I'm aware. It's just something that can be used. It's just the dense material, I think.
Okay, because just the way he was moving with it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just meant to be stylized, but yeah, there's points where it like seems to hover on its own for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what is it? What else we get? We get Uraraka dropping Monoma into the prison and just toying with her, trying to get her to talk. Potentially with Shinzo's brainwashing. And he's like, you should go after Deku. Who knows? Maybe I have another quirk. Might not have 3. And while she's even dignifying him with any kind of response, I'm shocked. Even just with, like, hand signals.
Now, if this was a PG-13 anime made in America, she would probably flip him off.
I don't even know if you can get away with that in a PG-13.
And
or if it's limited like your F-bombs in there. Because I think you get like one F-bomb in a PG-13.
And I'm like 90% sure about this, that the middle finger is Japanese sign language for middle. So when you're talking about like things in the middle, you do that to signify middle, since it's less offensive in Japan.
Yeah, that was one thing I learned a while ago. I don't remember what they are, but there's like a middle finger gesture in most countries of some sort. Some kind of rude hand gesture you throw out.
And it's different in each country.
I wouldn't say each country. I would say each. I don't even say culture. It's hard to say because the middle finger is something out of France, isn't it? If I recall right. And it's been adopted over here. I'm sure it's adopted up in England too. I'm not sure how much of the rest of Europe has adopted that one, but I'm sure like, you know, there are others as well. But yeah. Yeah, what else? Yeah, Monoma's toying with her and
he does have a fourth quirk.
Oh yeah, he copied Twin Impact, which apparently he triggered when he touched Deku's face.
How?
They said that all you have to do is touch an object, and you can trigger the second impact at any point afterward.
I'm sorry. I thought you made it sound like he got Twin Impact from Deku.
No. He already had it. He had probably copied it at the start of the match. Although he had also mentioned that, I guess, like, things that aren't something that would be stored in the body stay triggered. So Twin Impact or the size thing. Poltergeist would probably just die at that point.
And he was crackling with all for one energy.
Yes, which is something we discussed in the spoiler section before, of like he cannot copy the stored energy. He may have One for All, but he does not have the stored energy inside of it. And I assume he wouldn't have the remnants either. Like, he'd literally be one for all, the first user all over again. Because he does not have a way, like, he doesn't have the stored energy within it.
Right, right.
So yeah, Twin Impact did not, knocked, I guess, Deku's face to the side, only for Deku to be like, oh no, I'm not giving this stuff up. Fuck that. Managing to right himself and bounce back and then take down Shinzo with a well-placed axe kick, bringing him down and then basically incapacitating him. Meanwhile, Uraraka comes back after having a halfway point of like, should I help him? Nah, I trust him to be good on his own. Unless he goes wild again, of course, but, you know. She goes off to help Pinky and Mineta, and does a pretty good job of taking out two of the other girls. Basically, judo chops Poltergeist, drops her, and then shoves Ultraman girl, I forget what her name is, into a bunch of grapes and sticks her there. We didn't get to see how they dropped Twin Impact, though. I don't know how they got him. I don't think they showed it.
Yeah, so even though she's not in the jail cell, she's restrained enough.
She's unable to move. I mean, look at what happened in match 3 when, like, characters were unconscious. You had Ida just trapped underneath a building. Like, you're indisposed. You're not going anywhere. And if nobody else is there to get you out, you're done. You're stuck. Like I said, we didn't see Twin Impact. I assume he was in the jail cell. I don't know how he got taken out. I don't think they showed it. But, I mean, it's a 4-0 win. Or 5-0. 5-0 win.
Did Shinzo get knocked out too?
I mean, when Dicko caught him, yeah. Like, axe kicked him to the ground and then held him down. I'm pretty sure he just used his strength to, like, carry him off at that point. Or tied him up with his own scarf.
That scarf is an awesome fashion accessory and a restraining device.
If you're real careful, I could turn it into a straitjacket. Yeah, we get they get a dress down after that, basically, of like, what the hell went on, Midoriya? What happened? And just like, I don't know. It's weird. But he's like, I think I got it under control though now. And that's about it. I'm sure he'll get into more depth with All Might in the next episode.
And it was interesting to see that Shinzo said, like, you can control it now. So you were bluffing earlier.
Yeah, he thought for a second you were like, was this a bluff? What the hell?
Wait, you make me worry about you.
I didn't care, Babaka. As a secret man crush on Deku.
No, that's definitely Bakugo.
I'm very curious, actually, how Bakugo's going to react, like, when they get a chance to talk alone. Yeah, you get a dress down, you get Shinzo, just being like, man, I fucking love this hero course. I need to be in this. This is just inspiring. I need to go and do this. I cannot afford to be left out of this now. Although I will say, sorry, I'm jumping back a minute here. I did love Monoma's little, like, speech about not being the protagonist. I'm like, are you kidding me? A quirk that copies other quirks could totally be a protagonist quirk. Like, if you have the mentality Deku has to just study and understand quirks and how they work in general, that would totally be the exact same idea of just like, I'm going to use this and that and combo things, and it's going to be real cool.
But he can't fully combo because of his one-at-a-time restriction.
Well, like he said, things that aren't something that is restricted to his body could stay in effect, right? Like, if he was using Poltergeist and he had added the size thing onto something already, he could already still trigger that size thing if that time limit ran out, or if he was using Poltergeist.
Hold on a minute. Now I'm half remembering. Okay, my dad was a big reader of Legion of Superheroes when he was a kid, and I may be getting the hero's name wrong, but I believe it may have been Ultraman who had the power set of Superman plus more, except he could only use one power at a time.
I'm not familiar with that one, so I wouldn't know if that's right or not.
I may have to talk to him about it and come back next week.
Like I know there's a Supergirl variant of that, like not Ultra, Power Girl. But I don't know the backstory of that character either. I just know that she exists.
I'm not sure, but I think in like Mortal Kombat DC, she may be an alternate costume for Supergirl, so I'm not too sure how they're related.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know if it was like a clone thing or what, but I do know, like maybe it was like the Bizarro thing, where Bizarro I think was supposed to be like a failed clone of Superman.
Clones and sounds familiar for Power Girl.
So maybe Power Girl was like a more successful version, but the problem is less physical looks and more mental stability, maybe? I don't know.
Speaking about mental stability, I think Monoma is like a little bit insane sometimes.
Oh, I believe it's definitely a complex of like, I can't be the protagonist, but I will be the shining example of a side character. Like, I will be a side character that you want to know more about than any of these other main characters.
I will outshine the protagonist.
Exactly. Like, we've talked about animes and ratings discussed anime before, about, like, side characters that seem way more interesting than the main character. Like, I forget which one off the top of my head, but there was one where I'm like, I want to follow that story. I don't give a shit about this guy. He's crap. Give me that side character. He's got way more interesting shit going on.
Oh yeah, I forget what it was.
I forget which one it was, but there was one there, it was almost those exact lines.
And I think JoJo Part 5, we were debating that Giorno
or Bruno was like the main character, or the protagonist. Let me see here. Let me just scroll through the files. Let me see if I can be reminded of which one was about a main character. Was it... No, I'm not seeing one off the top. I'm not seeing the one off the top of my head that would have triggered that in my head. Oh well. Either way. But yeah, we get the dress down. I believe... I don't know if did they give us an answer of him passing? Yeah, I think they did. I think they said Shinzo passed.
But what one will he be in? A or
That's
B?
the question. Will he be A or B? That's a good question. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they tucked him in Class B. But for like this character to be moved in here, I feel like it would be a better option story-wise to put him in Class A. More opportunities to better himself. But hey, it could just as easily be Class B, because we'll have clashes like this again, or Class A versus Class B come up.
Yeah.
Either way, it seems like we're gonna get a like more in-depth discussion between All Might and Bakugo next episode about the shit that went down in Match 5. Outside of that, I don't know what else is going on. Maybe like drop us some hints as to the next half of the season, because this is only episode 11.
And there is, crap, I forget both their names, like, Eri and, Phase Through Matter guy that got his quirk erased.
Blanking on it, but yes, I know who you mean.
Mario?
Mirio, I think it is.
Yeah. So there is a shot of both of them in the trailer.
There is, but it could just be a thing of like, hey, this is what they're doing in the season. When you're off to the side, they're hanging out, because it's only like a brief flash and it's nothing fancy. I mean, maybe they'll do a visit and have like a little side story or something.
Well, both of them were featured for like 1 second in the intro, so...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could just be a flash of, hey, here's what these characters are doing in the intro, right? Like, during this stuff. Because this is, what, maybe like one day. Like, this entire arc is like one day.
Yeah, so even if it's 5 minutes, I would be happy to catch up with them.
Maybe Shoto gets to finally answer his dad's texts and messages.
Huh, Dad's been texting me a lot. More than a lot. Damn it, Dad. Why so many texts?
He seems really desperate. I'll answer this later.
Shoko!
Yeah, that's really it. There's not much to speculate about besides it's just going to be a discussion next week. It's going to be a lot of back and forth of what the fuck's going on, it seems like so far. Who knows what else is happening? I have no idea.
But if you catch up with us next week, you'll be informed. Or you could just watch the episode yourselves.
I don't know, maybe somebody in here has a quirk that can predict the future. Maybe they will know exactly what we say a week ahead of time.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Some future quirk.
It's the Oingo Boingo fucking comic. It's just Thoth. Just drops scans of the fucking Thoth book comic book of the future. Someone somehow has an orange for a head.
So we'll catch everybody next week.
See ya.